Good morning, everyone, and again, thank you for inviting me to this auspicious investment meeting. I'm extremely delighted to be here this morning. The Honorable James Marape, the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, my colleague ministers, the Honorable the Senator Tim Myers, the Deputy Trade Minister of Australia, our President from the Autonomous Region of Bougainville, all our distinguished business leaders, all our sponsors, members of the media, and friends. I'm here this morning to talk about investment and trade and our relationship with Australia and the future of our country in as far as investment and trade is concerned and the growth of our economy. My first message to all of us this morning is, despite all our challenges, be it law and order, FX, and all our issues and challenges, PNG is still a very attractive investment destination. And we are working through all these challenges, and our government has been investing a lot in police, in the judiciary, in education, in skilling our young people, despite all our challenges. Over the last 12 months, I've seen more interest by investors from many countries of the world who want to invest in Papua New Guinea, apart from the mining and petroleum sector. We are still a very exciting place to invest in. Obviously, we have vast natural resources, from our mining and petroleum resources to our fishery, to our forest. We have wind energy, we have rivers for hydros, we have rare minerals, we have so much land that's very fertile and ready for large-scale commercial agriculture. We have a large unemployed workforce. We are also a growing market with over 10 million people that need to be fed and catered for. So we are a very exciting place to do business. We have the resources and we have our market, and we have also access to markets. We are only next door to Indonesia. Can you imagine a free trade zone in Vanimo producing for that mass market? We've just signed an agreement with Indonesia so our trucks can start to cross the border for the first time. And I'm hoping that will happen next year. It's taken us 50 years, but we're getting there. In terms of our trade balance, we're an import-dependent nation. There are many products that we are importing that we don't need to be importing. We are looking for investors to invest in, example, rice. So we stop the importation of 1 billion kina worth of rice every year. We don't need to bring canned tin fish. We need to process all our tuna. So we have enough fish for ourselves. We need large cattle breeding farms. So we don't import. We need more dairy farms. We have the ability. If we had the expertise and the capital and investors in those spaces, we can stop a lot of imports. We can process our copper. Why can't we have a smelter in Ley, for example? Why do we keep exporting raw materials? Our nickel. So there's a lot of opportunities for us to replace imports, value add, and help build the economy. So if there are investors in this space who want to help us replace imports, we are very keen to talk to you. On top of that list is an Australian company, Maru Resources. I am hoping that in the next few weeks, We will finalize a term sheet and get the state to agree to a project agreement with Maru to produce our own limestone and our own cement, so we don't have to import anymore. We should be a net exporter. So I'm really excited about opportunities like this, and Australian companies who are stepping up to invest in our country. Australia is the biggest single investor, and we are very grateful for that. I want to thank the Australian companies who invested in PNG, and I want to encourage more to come. We will look after you. We will go out of our way to assist you, secure your investments in Papua New Guinea. We have some clear targets. In our medium-term development plan number 4, we want to create 1 million new jobs. We want to cease all state borrowing by 2027. We want to grow the economy to a point where we don't need to borrow. PNG needs to be financially independent and be a net donor to the world. And the Maru government is really driving this agenda. We only have to grow revenue by 5 billion a year, and we don't need to borrow anymore. And it's coming. We'll be a stronger economy. And we've, in my ministry, fully understand we can't grow the economy without investment, both local investment and foreign direct investment. So we are open for business. How do we grow the economy further and make sure that by 2027, we have enough revenue to meet our own requirements? We want to replace all imports, especially food items. Imports like lime, cement. And we are looking for investors in this space. We want to downstream process all our raw materials, including our copper, our gold, our nickel. We want to start some very high potential growth industries like oil palm. We want to grow it in a very big way. We have 6 million hectares of savanna land. Imagine if we grow oil palm in that 6 million hectares. We are compliant with demands from the European Union not to deforest. We are certified for RSPO's certification. That will grow our economy by a further 20 billion in revenue every year. We'll be a stronger and stronger economy. We don't need to import sugar. We are now working with an investor to grow enough sugar, not only for our own requirements, but to export as well. This year, for the first time, we are putting in 150 million to work with our landowners to mobilize land, give them state titles so they can free up large tracts of land for commercial agriculture. It's a big challenge, but one we are determined to work on. We have a lot of potential for sports tourism, and the announcement this week about the NRL bid will be a very exciting announcement. It will really kickstart and boost sports tourism in a way we've never seen. Can you imagine a PNG team on the NRL every weekend playing and the whole world is watching in? It will be our greatest marketing opportunity for Papua New Guinea, and we are extremely grateful for the support we are getting from the Australian government. Extremely, extremely grateful. Apart from the mining and petroleum sector, the sector that will drive the transformation of our economy is the special economic zones. We learned that from countries like Indonesia, China, Thailand. That's where our future is in terms of economic growth. We are now organizing land, provinces and regions to bring in investors into economic zones right throughout the country. And offering them incentives, land, fiscal and non-fiscal incentives, and we are looking to grow the economy in a very, very big way, using investments that will go into these economic zones. We'll just talk about the Philippines for a moment. They have 450 special economic zones, creating 1.8 million jobs. It's the reason why the Philippines economy is the fastest growing and most sustained economy in terms of growth in the entire Asia region. The export out of economic zones in the Philippines alone is 3 times the size of the PNG export in total. Thailand is competing, Turkey is competing, everyone is now moving to special economic zone, and this is certainly the direction our country is taking. 2 of our Australian investors, Maru I mentioned, and 1 more, I'm hoping that in the next few weeks, they will send project agreements and invest in our economic zones, and they'll be among the first. Indonesia has 19 special economic zones employing 14 million people. I've been to these economic zones and I'm just so impressed. We are now in the business of offering incentives to attract investors. We want to compete with the rest of the world. We have the resources, we have the raw materials. We honor agreements. We have very stable governments. At the present time, we have issued 1 license, and we have 10 other being processed, 10 other economic zones being processed. That is the future direction we want to take, and investors interested in investing in economic zones, please come and see us after the presentation. My chairman is here, the regulator is here, and my team from the ministry is here in the department. Our first licensed economic zones, the Paga Hill, our tourism zone, when it's completed over the next 10 years, will have 10 billion invested and create 13,000 new jobs in the city of Port Moresby. It's a very exciting development. And it will not surprise me, the NRL team may be located within the economic zone in terms of accommodation. So we're here to aggressively drive investment in downstream processing, in investing in import replacement industries, by driving the agenda through the special economic zones to attract investors with incentives like tax holidays, not having to pay duty for the import of materials during your construction phase. This is the first time that PNG is offering such incentives in our history. We want to compete. We want to attract investors. We want to hold their hands. And we want to work with them to invest and make acceptable returns in our country. We're in the middle of free trade negotiations with China and Indonesia. These are two markets we really would like to have free access to in a very big way through free trade agreements. We need to reduce the cost of power. I've been looking at some numbers. Cost of electricity in Australia is sitting between US 18 cents to 20 cents. In Indonesia, it's only 8 cents. In some places, only 3 US cents per kilowatt hour. If we want to compete with the rest of the world, we have to be competitive. We are looking for investments like hydros. We are open to companies to come and negotiate to be in special economic zones and build hydros where we are able to offer you incentives. We need to drive the cost of doing business down and to drive the cost of electricity down so we are more competitive. We are working hard to put in all the enabling infrastructure, including our Connect PNG program to put roads everywhere. It's a very ambitious program and we are doing well so far. I want to see the cost of communications come down. I know we are in court with our friends from the US, but I'm hoping that very soon we'll have players like Starlink come into our country. I am a great supporter of anything that will result in driving the cost of business down. And I am open to competition that will help us get there. There are also industries which we call pioneer industries. The government of Papua New Guinea is prepared to go all out to provide incentives and protect companies who are investing in industries that we don't currently have. I'll give you an example. If you have a company interested in doing rice, to replace all the imports, we'll give you pioneer industry status, meaning you not only you'll get tax holiday, but we will impose tariffs to make sure that nobody else comes in during the time that we've agreed to protect the investment. If you're interested in investing in cement and limestone, why can't we protect you if you're the first investor in that space? And other provisions we have with the World Trade Organization for developing nations like Papua New Guinea. We are ready to work with new industries, pioneer industries, infant industries. I've told you earlier, by 2027, our economy will be big enough so we will not need to borrow anymore. We'll have a surplus budget by 2027 and start repaying our 62 billion loan. If we get 1 or 2 or 3 of these resource projects in the pipeline across the line, PNG will be a very exciting place to invest in, do business in the region. PNG will be the go-to country. PNG will be the go-to location for business. We're going to have a high-growth economy that, in my books, will be sustained for over 15, 20 years. This is the future, and we're working very hard to build the future with the support of great friends like Australia and all our other bilateral partners, and the investment community, including many of the majors from Australia, like Santos. I said earlier, we have a lot of challenges, but despite the challenges, PNG is a very exciting place. If it wasn't, you would not have Newmont come, world's #1 in gold. Exxon wouldn't be there. Santos wouldn't have invested there. We are a very exciting investment destination. And imagine if we get 3 of these resource projects or 4 of them across the line. The growth will be sustained over a very, very long time. So my ministry is working to package investment projects for investors right across the country, across all sectors, working with all my colleague ministers. We are working to market investment opportunities right across the world, and we are gearing up for the Expo in Japan in April next year. We are taking trade delegations to other countries, and we are doing everything we can as a ministry and as government to promote investment opportunities in Papua New Guinea. We've just introduced a new service for the first time since independence, a new trade commission service, where we've now got ex officio trade commissioners in the Philippines and in Australia, in Brisbane. We now have a honorary trade commissioner in Brisbane who looks after promoting trade investment in Papua New Guinea out of Brisbane. We are looking at one in Indonesia and other countries. So these are services we will be rolling out, and we have started, and we'll be rolling out that service throughout many countries in the world. We are looking to appoint trade commissioners right across the world who don't have to be employees of our government. We are working very hard to get investors to cross the line in terms of meeting all our requirements to get licenses and state project agreements in all our economic zones that we are currently processing. We've now got a new fund called the State Equity Fund. We are going to use that fund to take up equity in projects that may be considered high risk. In rural areas, we are happy to invest our own equity, get our skin into the game, and assist investors to come in and invest in PNG. Using our state vehicles like Kumul Mining and Kumul Agriculture, who will take up equity as state nominees. We are working to develop our capital market, so even foreign companies who want to invest in PNG can raise capital within our capital market in Papua New Guinea through our stock exchange. This is something I want to encourage. I want to see more and more Papua New Guinean entities and companies, including landowner companies, our super funds invest in many of the exciting projects that we are currently working on. And we are working to build the capacity of our Special Economic Zone Authority, our regulator, to work with investors and process all the applications for licenses for investment in our special economic zones. What are some of our lowest hanging fruit in terms of investment? We want to process all the fish that is caught in PNG waters in a special economic zone up in Medang. We're looking at 10 more processing facilities. It'll create 100,000 new jobs and bring in over 4 billion in new revenue to Papua New Guinea. So fishing is one sector we really want to focus on. When our Minister for Fisheries brings through a new policy called the domestication policy, with the ultimate aim of processing all our catch within PNG instead of 80% of our catch leaving PNG waters. Agriculture is our big focus as well. We want to talk to companies who want to invest in cattle, who want to invest in palm oil, and who want to invest in rice and other agriculture products. Currently, we import about 180 million kina worth of chicken from Australia and New Zealand. We don't need to do that. We are now talking to investors to come in and invest in our chicken industry, create 10,000 jobs so we stop importing. It is quite simple. These are food items that we can produce in PNG, and it's exciting. We are now talking to an Australian company to invest in this sector. Cattle as well. We are keen on having a smelter in Lae in Papua New Guinea. This is something we want to push in the new year. Our copper needs to be processed in PNG. And we've now got land in Lae. In the special economic zone, we want to create at the Lae port. And this is one area that I really want to push. I've seen smelters in other countries, and I see no reason why we should be exporting copper concentrate. Time has come for that to end. So if there's any investor interested in smelting all our copper, I think this is the time to talk and have that discussion. And our nickel as well. Hydro is my favorite. Even Australia is struggling with energy. We have a lot of resources like PLENARY. It'll be nice to have that discussion again between the Australian government and Australian companies to develop PLENARY so we can energize this country and support you, lower your cost of energy. I want to leave that offer on the table this morning. And PLENARY can also supply you water into Queensland. It's an exciting opportunity, and one that we should be discussing at government to government, state to government, and then, of course, with the private sector. I'm hoping that early next year we will approve a free trade zone in Vanemo, which is next to the Indonesian border. It's only 1 hour away by truck. And I'm looking at an economic zone to be built over there, specifically to produce for export to Indonesia and the rest of Asia. We are closer. So these are some low-hanging fruit that I wanted to highlight this morning. It just goes to show you that there's unlimited opportunities in Papua New Guinea for genuine investors who would like to invest in this space. In recent times, we're getting so many inquiries from even countries we never thought would come. Last week, I had a big team from Ukraine. I had the US come, a big group of US investors come in. Thailand, China and Australia is always there. But we're now starting to see other countries coming in. Malaysia wants to increase its investment in Papua New Guinea. So it's a very exciting time, and more investors are coming, despite all our challenges and all the negative media we get every day. Investors are coming. Let me conclude by saying PNG, despite all our challenges, we expect by 2027 to stop borrowing and have a net surplus. We will be a stronger economy. Imagine if we get 3 or 4 resource projects across the line in the next 12 months, we'll be even stronger. There are many exciting opportunities for investment. We are going all out to support good investors who want to come and invest in Papua New Guinea, especially through the use of our special economic zones. If you are a first mover, new industry, we will support you and protect your investment. And use every law to protect you for taking the initial risk to invest in new industries. PNG is ready for and open for business. We are coming as a nation. My secretary is here and my team is here to talk to anyone who would like to invest in Papua New Guinea. Both current investors and those who want to be new investors in our exciting country. Thank you everyone for listening in.